So we're going to try things another way. And here I'm going to go ahead and use my kids' easel. You can see the paint from their art projects here. And we're going to go ahead today and start talking about Monopoly. And on some level, I think we all know what Monopoly is. Monopoly is a situation where there's just one seller of a product. And if we want the monopoly to be economically meaningful, two things have to be true. First is not only are you the only seller of the product, there are no close substitutes available. So for instance, on one level, what, say, Mariah Carey or you or Hannah Montana or whatever does is unique. No one else does things exactly the way you do. You're a unique snowflake and you're a human treasure, and we all value you very much, and your mother values your uniqueness very much. But from the point of view of the labor market, there are lots of substitutes. So, female pop vocalist 18 to 22 who can use auto-tune, there are a lot of close substitutes for that. Likewise, you graduate with a degree in accounting, and maybe no one does it with the unique flourish that you do, but there are close substitutes out there. So you don't have a monopoly in the labor market, even though you are the only seller of your particular type of labor services. How we actually judge that is, remember that we can look at cross-price elasticity of demand. So you go back to elasticity, and cross-price elasticity of demand is the percent change in the quantity demanded of B over the percent change in the price of A. So how do we use this to determine whether or not there are close substitutes? Let's say, for instance, that we had a situation where when firm A raises the product of its price by 10%, the demand for firm B's product only goes up by 1%. So the fact that this is a very weak response here tells us that consumers don't regard these two things as close substitutes. On the other hand, if this were, say, 5 or 10%, then it looks like consumers do regard them as substitutes. Maybe moderately close substitutes at 5%. If it's 10%, stronger substitutes. If it's 20%, if a 10% change in price causes the other firm's sales to grow by 20%, then consumers are pretty willing to switch from one product to another. So this is, in fact, how lawyers and economists and people in antitrust, anti-monopoly government positions judge whether or not something is an economically meaningful monopoly in terms of close substitutes. The other thing that we're going to talk about is, why do monopolies exist at all? Why do monopolies arise? And that's going to be a topic for our next video segment.